I want to know if anybody got notification. You're welcome to my platform. Once again, my name is Clement, and I'm here in Ivano-Frankivsk city, Ukraine. And I'll be sharing a very interesting topic with you this evening. So I'm going to wait for people to come join me. Let me see who is going to join me first. Let's see who will be the first to join. I can't see anybody yet. I'm going to wait for you to come. I will not be in a hurry to start. I want to be sure that people got notification and that they are coming to join me tonight. I came on air and the broadcast was disconnected. I don't know what happened. Right now, I'm still waiting to see the first person. Yes, blessing Ogedegbe, good evening to you. How is the family? You're welcome. You are the first to join me tonight. I'm glad to have you on my platform. God bless you. And my wife just joined, Topsy Gifts. You're welcome. Good evening to you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Yes, blessing Ogedegbe, I can see you. Thank you so much for joining. Kofi Power, you're welcome. Kofi Power, somebody came before you this evening. You used to be the first to come. But blessing Ogedegbe joined before you. Thank you for coming. God bless you. Okay, so please, as you're coming in, do me a favor and just help me share the video with your friends. Just share the video publicly and inbox the link to your friends. Let them come and join us tonight. The topic we are discussing tonight, I'm afraid to say that is a mind-blowing topic. It's such that everybody needs to listen to it. So please, as you're coming in, just invite your friends, share the link, and let's get more people to come. I'm not going to mention the topic now until I get some few more persons to join, and we kickstart. Although the topic is written somewhere, those who are smart would have seen it, but I'm not going to declare the topic officially until we get some more persons to join us. But it's a topic that I'm going to promise you will be a blessing to you. It will be a blessing to you. So please get more people. Yes, my wife has shared the video already. Who else is going to help me share the video, please? Just click the share button under your video and invite your friends to come. In the next 2 minutes, I'm going to kickstart. So you're all welcome. I believe you're all doing great. You're all doing well in your countries wherever you are. I can see Reverend Emeka Eze on my platform. You're welcome. I'm humbled to have you on this platform today. Good evening to you, sir. And Pastor Anu Ojo, you're welcome. God bless you. I'm glad to have you. Please do well to share the video, with your friends. Invite everybody to come and be part of this broadcast tonight. I'm convinced in my spirit that tonight's topic is going to be a blessing to everyone who will join us tonight and those who will listen to it later. Anu Ojo, you have shared the video. Thank you. And someone else shared the video. God bless every one of you for sharing. Okay, since we have shared the video and then we have quite a number of people, I think I can officially announce what topic we are talking about tonight. Now, we are looking at a topic that is titled, Everyone Can Become Great, Including You. Everyone can become great, including you. I think that topic is such that everybody needs to listen to it. So that is why I want to plead with you one more time to do me the favor of sharing the topic, of sharing the video, and inviting your friends to be part of it. Millicent, you are welcome. Tochuku, you are welcome. So everyone can become great, including you. I mean you who is listening to me now. You can become great. Now, am I saying that everyone can become great? Why did I choose to talk about this topic today? I'm going to give you a few reasons why I chose to pick this topic today. And one of the reasons is because most people on the face of the earth do not believe that it is even a possibility for them to become great. They do not believe that greatness is possible with them. They do not believe that they can become successful in life. That is one of the reasons why I brought this topic today, to tell you that you can become great, and that everybody has equal possibility of becoming great. And I'm going to prove that to you this evening. Dr. Ike Nachas, you are welcome. Good evening to you. I can see Ruben Mame, you're welcome. God bless you. Thank you for coming. So everybody can become great. And I'm going to tell you how that can happen. Now, if you look at our world today, you will see only very few persons who you could regard as great people. If you look at your country, or if you look at the world in general, you will see only very selected few persons who we could associate with greatness. If you look at history, you will see a few names that we could say were great names. But how come we have only a few great people? That is what we're talking about tonight. You know, even though my topic is saying that everyone can become great, how come we don't see that everybody in the real sense is great and successful? Even though I'm saying to you now that everyone can become great, but if you look at our world today, everybody is not great. Everybody is not successful. In fact, there are more failures. In the real sense, there are more failures in our world today than successful people. There are more mediocre people than great people. But I'm telling you tonight that it is possible for everyone to become great. So if I'm saying everyone can become great, how come we don't see that in reality? How come only a few people are great? How come when you look around the world today, you could mention only very few names of people who are great and who are successful? So the question is, why are all other people not great? Why do we have a lot of failures and a lot of mediocre people? Why is it that our world is controlled only by 1 to 3% of people on the earth? It is only 1 to 3% of people that control the entire world. We have about 7 billion people. But I'm saying that it is only about 1 to 3% of this 7 billion that determines what happens on the earth, that give rules and regulation, that control your life and my life, that make policies that govern nations. Where are the rest? Why is it that only few selected people are great. But the question we must ask ourselves tonight is this: is it possible at all that everybody can become great? Or am I just saying something that is impossible? Is my topic misleading? Am I living in misconception? Am I having a misconception and a misguided ideology for me to say that everybody can become great? No, I'm not. I know what I'm talking about, and I'm saying that you and I, every one of us, can become great. And I'm going to tell you how and why I said that. Now today, especially in my country, Nigeria, and in most undeveloped and developing countries, you see a lot of poor people, a lot of mediocre people, a lot of low lives, people who don't even believe at all that they can ever achieve anything in life. People who have concluded that they do not have what it takes to ever become great in life. But I'm coming to you tonight to say that everybody can become great. Now, before I continue, I want to know if you can hear me. I would like you to write a comment so that I would know that you can hear what I'm talking about tonight. Ayoko Faith, you are welcome. Jonas, you are welcome. So if you can hear me, just write a comment and let me know. And then please help me share the video and invite your friends to come. So, one of the first reasons why I said that everybody can become great is because you and I have a God who is a great God. One of the reasons why I said that everybody can become great is because you and I have a God who is a great God. And not only because we have a God who is a great God, but because we have his image and his likeness. Well, my wife said she can hear me. I would like to hear from someone else to confirm what she's saying. She said she can hear me. So please, somebody else, if you can hear me, write and let me know you can hear me. So, the first reason why I'm saying that everybody can become great is because we have a God who is a great God, and that God was not selfish, or he's not selfish. He was kind enough to put his image and his likeness into you and I. So we carry the image of God in us. And that image and that likeness is that of greatness. So everybody that exists on the face of the earth, simply because you are created by God, simply because you are made after the similitude of God, even just by the singular reason that you are a Homo sapien, that you are a human being, you can become great. You have the ability to become great because you have the image and the likeness of God. So what I'm saying to you today is that because we have a great Father, a great God, we already have the potential for greatness. Whether you are dark-skinned or white-skinned, it doesn't matter. Just because you are a human being, you are endowed with the potential and the ability to become great. So you have a capacity for greatness. That is why you cannot begin to look at yourself and say, oh, I don't think it is possible for me to become great. That is why you cannot begin to look at your background and conclude that you cannot become great. I'm saying to you tonight that just because you are a human being, you have the potential to become great already. And if God is your father, you do not have any reason not to model your God, not to model your father. If God is great, then every one of us can become great. That's the reason why I said that you and I can become great. But if you look at our world today, people look at their background. People look at their skin color. People look at their race to conclude that they cannot become great. If you look at our world today, you will see a lot of people who are saying, it is because I was born in Africa, that is why I cannot become great. It is because I was born in a particular village in Africa, that is why I cannot become great. Others are saying, it is because I'm dark-skinned, that is why I cannot become great. They are saying, I wish I was a white man, or I wish I was a Caucasian, I would have become great. But can I say to you tonight that it is not skin color that determines greatness. Greatness is not determined by physical genes or biological genes. Greatness is not encoded by genes. It is not your chromosome that determines whether you can become great or not. That is why, whether you are dark-skinned or you are white-skinned, whether you are African or you are European, we all have equal potential to achieve greatness. We all have equal ability to become great and successful in life. So I want you to begin to erase that idea from your mind. Because you are dark, because you were born in Africa, that you cannot become great. Begin to eliminate that idea from your mind. Because it is not skin color that determines greatness. It is not your country of origin that determines greatness. So I'm saying tonight that everybody can become great, whether dark or white, whether African or Asian. Now, if it is skin color that determines greatness, how come all white people are not great? How come all Americans are not great? How come all English people are not great? How come all Chinese people are not great? How come all Europeans are not great? Are you aware that even in Europe, there are a lot of mediocre people? There are a lot of low lives. There are a lot of people who are not successful. if it is skin color that determines greatness, then everyone who is white-skinned would have become great. So I want to disabuse your mind tonight. I want to tell you tonight that it is not your skin color that determines greatness. It is not where you are born that determines greatness. Can I say to you today that there are a lot of dark-skinned people all over the world who are great people. There are some people who were born in Africa who are great people. If you read history, there are a lot of people who were dark-skinned, but they became successful and great. We have some great names in history who were dark-skinned people, just as we have some great names in history who are also white-skinned people. So it is not the color of your skin that determines greatness. I'm sure you would have heard of George Washington Carver. George Washington Carver was not a white man. I'm sure you know Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was not a white man. I'm sure you know Dr. Miles Monroe. Dr. Miles Monroe was not a white man. Have you heard of Jerry Rice? Jerry Rice is not a white man. Have you heard of Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan is not a white man. So I'm saying to you today that it is not your skin color that determines whether or not you will be great. So that is the first thing you need to know. That your skin color does not determine greatness. Because greatness is not encoded by genes. It's not chromosome that determine whether you become great. And then some people want to say, oh, because I was born in Africa, that is why I cannot become great. Are you sure that it is everyone who is born in the US that became great? Are you sure that everybody who was born in Canada became great? I just told you now that only 1 to 3% of people on the face of the earth control the entire earth. Only very few people are great. So if it is where you are born that determines greatness, then everybody in Canada, everybody in the US, everybody in Germany will become a great person. But you and I know that it is not so. So greatness has nothing to do with where you are born. Listen to me. Have you heard of a guy called Elon Musk? Elon Musk is one of the great names, one of the people who are making things happen in our world today. But Elon Musk was born in South Africa. That is why I'm saying that it is not where you were born that determines greatness. Most of the great people that you know were not born in very low places. They were not born into very rich backgrounds, but they still became great. Because most of my country men and women like to say, oh, it is because I'm a Nigerian, because I was born in Nigeria, things don't work out in Nigeria, that is why I'm not great. That is a lie. Aliko Dangote is a Nigerian. So that is enough to prove to you that it is not where you were born that determines greatness. Again, some people will say that I'm not great because I do not have anybody in politics. I do not have connections. But I'm saying to you that it is not your political connections that will make you great. It is not because you have somebody in politics that will make you great. If you are thinking that because you don't have somebody in politics, that's why you are not great, you are living in delusion. It is a wrong ideology. It means that you have concluded that you can never become great because you don't have somebody in politics. But I'm saying to you tonight that you, who is listening to me now, can become great. Because you have been endowed with the potential to become great. And I'm going to tell you how you can do that. How you can achieve greatness. Some people will say, oh, I'm not great because maybe I'm in the wrong religion. Maybe because I'm a Christian or because I'm a Muslim. That is why I'm not great. I want to say to you today, it is not your religion that determines greatness. It is not because you are a Christian that you are not great. And you will not become great simply because or just because you are a Christian. No. It is not your religion that determines greatness. That is why, if you look at the world today, every great person that you see today belongs to one religion or another. And every mediocre person belongs to one religion or another. So, if you go to Christianity, you will see a few great people. If you go to Islam, you see a few great people. Even the atheists, most of them are great also and successful on the earth. So it is not whether you are a Christian or a Muslim that will determine whether you will be great. In fact, that you are a Christian does not automatically make you great. And that you are a Muslim does not automatically make you great. There are certain principles you must apply to become great, irrespective of your religion. So it is not religion at all. That is why you can see a lot of people in church who are praying and fasting, but they are still poor. They are living a life of mediocrity. So it is not fasting and prayer, it is not religion that will make you great. It is not prophecy that will make you great. If prophecy can make you great, then we will have a lot of great Christians everywhere. But you and I know that it is not so. So I want you to know tonight that you can become great. But how? Let me tell you how. The first thing you need to know or you need to do to become great is to believe that you can become great. The first thing you need to do to become great is to believe that you can become great. I told you earlier that most people do not believe that they can become great. The only thing that may be limiting you from greatness is just because you don't believe that you can become great. You have looked at your background. You have looked at your skin color. You have looked at your country. You have looked at, how poor you are. And then you've concluded that you cannot become great. And just because you do not believe that you cannot become great, you will not become great. So the first thing you need to do to become great is to first believe that you can become great. That is why even the Bible told us that all things are possible to him that believes. That is in the book of Mark chapter 9 verse 23. If thou can believe, all things are possible to him that believes. If thou can believe, all things are possible to him that believes. So if you just believe that you can become great, then you have taken the first step to greatness. You are all welcome. Stephen Ebuka, you are welcome. Adewale Adedoyin, you are welcome. Julian, you are welcome. Can you please let me share the video? So I'm saying today that the first thing you need to become great is to believe that you can become great. If you do not believe that you can become great, no matter the amount of prophecies, no matter the connections you have, no matter the kind of background you have, you will not become great. So I want you to know that you have the potential to become great, but you will only become great if you do certain things. And the first thing you need to do is to believe that you can become great. And when I talk about you believing that you can become great, I'm not saying believing in God. I'm not talking about you believing in God, because I already told you before that it doesn't matter your religion, you can become great. So I'm not saying that if you believe in God or you believe in Jesus, you will become. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you can just believe that you can become great, then you are on your way to greatness. You have taken the first step to greatness. So the first thing you need to know is that you need to believe that you can become great. And I'm not talking about believing in God, because I know a lot of people who believe in God and they are still not great. I know a lot of people who have faith in God, but they are still living in mediocrity. I know a lot of people who believe in God, but they are still living in poverty. So it is not belief in God that will make you great. That is why even some atheists who do not believe in God are successful and they are great. So it is not faith in God that will make you great. Faith in God will take you to heaven. Faith in God will give you God's righteousness. Faith in God will justify you. Faith in God will cleanse all your sins. But faith in God is not what will make you great on the earth. So for you to be great on earth, you need to have faith. You need to believe that you can become great. That is why you could see atheists, you could see some Muslims, and some people who are Buddhists, who are great, just because they believe they can become great. Even if they don't believe in God, but because they believe that they can become great, most of them became great. So you must know that it is not God who decides who will be great on the earth. I just said something now that may sound controversial to a lot of people, but I want to say that again. It was not a mistake. I'm saying that it is not God who decides or who determines who will be great on the earth. Why am I saying that? Because I told you before that God is a great God. And because you and I are made in his image and his likeness, he has already given us the potential to become great. Just by making us in his image and likeness, he's given us the potential to become great. But why are we not all great? Why are we not all successful? That is to tell you that God has done his part. He has given you the potentials you need to become great. But now that you are on the earth, it is not God who will decide whether you will become great or not. If God decides who becomes great on the earth, then God is a partial God. If God is the one who selects a few people to make them great, then he is not a just God. Then he is not a fair God. Then we cannot call him a God of justice. So I'm saying to you today that it is not God who decides who will become great on earth. If God chooses only few people to become great, then God will be a partial God. Then God will be a respecter of persons. Then God will be showing favoritism if he chooses only a few people to become great. So if it is not God who chooses who becomes great, then what determines greatness? Who decides greatness? I'm saying to you today that you are the only one who can decide your greatness. I'm saying to you today that your destiny and your greatness is in your hands to decide. I'm saying that if you do not become great, God is not to blame. If you do not become successful, God is not to be held responsible. Because it is not God who decides who will be great on the earth. That is why you could see a lot of atheists becoming great, even if they don't believe in God. So I'm saying to you today that you need to know that God does not handpick some few people and decide to say, oh, I'm going to make these ones great. If God made all of us, if he created all of us, it would be injustice for him to choose only some people and say these ones are the ones that will become great. If God decides to say only those who are white-skinned, who are Europeans or who are, Americans, that will become great, if God does that, then he becomes a partial God. That is why I'm saying that it is not God who decides who will become great. He has given everybody equal potential to become great on the earth. He has given every one of us what we need for life and godliness. So if you are not great, you have yourself to blame, not God. So you need to know that. I need to make that clear. Because most of us, especially religious people, we are waiting on God to make us great. We are waiting on God to come and make us successful. But I'm saying to you today that God is waiting for you to go and exhibit the greatness that he has given to you already. I'm saying to you today that God is waiting for you to go and exercise the potential that he has put inside of you already. Because he has made every one of us great. Potentially. But those who become great are those who did something to become great. Who first of all believed. Who first of all had faith that they can become great. And thanks to their faith, they became great. And like I said before, not faith in God. It is not faith in God that makes anybody great. But you need to believe that you can become great. So if you were doubting your greatness before, I'm saying to you now that just because you carry God on your inside, you have the potential for greatness. Just because you were made in the image and likeness of God, you have the potential for greatness. But it is not God who will come down to make you great. So the first thing you need to do, the first step to greatness, is to believe that you can become great. Whether you believe in God or not, you can become great if you just believe. That is why Jesus said in Mark chapter 9 verse 23 that if thou can believe, all things are possible to him that believes. All things are possible to him that believes. Anything you believe is possible to you. So if you believe you can become great, you are on your way to greatness. So the first thing you need to do is to believe. Because if you believe it, then you can achieve it. But believing that you can become great is only the first step to greatness. But if you don't believe at all that you can become great, I'm sorry to say, you will not become great. It doesn't even matter how many people pour anointing oil on your head and prophesy. If you do not believe that you can achieve greatness, you will not become great. It doesn't matter how many people believe in you. Until you believe in yourself that you can become great, you will never achieve greatness. So the first thing you need to do is to believe. Now, the second thing you need to do to believe, the second thing you need to do to become great is you must choose in which area of life you want to become great. You must decide to say that I want to become great in this area. I want to become great in politics. I want to become great in sports. I want to become great, in medicine. I want to become great in engineering. I want to become great in law. You need to decide. You need to choose in what area you want to become great. So it is not enough to just believe that you can become great. You must choose in what area you want to become great. You must choose in what area you want to make your voice heard. You want to make impact. You want to become successful. You must choose it. So the second thing you need to become great is to choose in what area you want to become great. First, believe you can. And then secondly, choose in what area you want to become great. Is it in sports? Is it in the banking sector? Is it in law? Is it in academics? Is it just any area? Just choose what area. Is it in ministry? Just choose what area you want to become great. Because if you look at history, you will see a lot of great names from different spheres of life. So you need to choose. If it is academics you want, you decide. If it is in engineering, you decide. If it is in politics, you decide. But until you choose in what area you want to become great, it will be difficult for you to achieve greatness. Because you don't know where you are going. Because you don't have a direction. So that is why everybody must decide in what area he or she wants to become great. Now, if I ask you to mention the great names in history and those who are still alive, you begin to mention names like Thomas Edison. You begin to mention names like Isaac Newton. You begin to mention names like Albert Einstein. You begin to mention names, like Mark Zuckerberg. You begin to mention names like Bill Gates. You begin to mention names like Serena Williams. You begin to mention names like Michael Jordan, Jerry Rice, Usain Bolt. So every sphere of life has produced great names. And it is because these people chose in what area they want to become great. And they worked towards it. And thanks to their choice and their hard work, they became great. You can mention names like Nelson Mandela, names like Mahatma Gandhi, names like Mother Teresa, names like Elon Musk, names like Dr. Miles Monroe. So all these people became successful and great. They made impact simply because, first of all, they believed that they could become great, and secondly, they chose in what area they wanted to become great. That is why you also have to choose in what area you want to become great. Until you believe it and you choose in what area you want to become great, it will be difficult for you to achieve greatness. That is why we have a lot of mediocre people on the earth today, because they do not believe they can become great, and they have not chosen in what area they want to become great. So the first thing to do to become great is to believe that you can. And the second thing to do is to decide in what area of life you want to become great. Mark Zuckerberg has chosen to take over, the internet, Facebook. Bill Gates has chosen to rule the world of Microsoft and softwares. Elon Musk is making electric cars. Everybody has to choose in what area he or she wants to become great. Dangote has taken agriculture and production. So you must choose in what area you want to become great. Now, the third thing you need to become great, I'm going to tell you now. But before I tell you, I want to welcome a few persons who just joined me. Engineer Osajele Kesili, God bless you. Thank you for coming. I can see Abigail Oko, you are welcome. God bless you. Mrs. Peace Chinenye, you are welcome. God bless you. Best Kenneth, you are welcome. I can see my lecturer in the University of Port Harcourt, Dr. Odu Kenneth. Good evening to you. You are welcome. I'm glad to have you, every one of you, on this platform. So we are looking at a topic that says that everyone can become great, including you. And I have said that everybody has the potential for greatness, and that it is not your background, it is not your skin color, it is not your race, it is not where you were born, it is not your country origin, it is not your connections that determines whether or not you will become great on the earth. And I also said that it is not even God who will decide whether or not you will become great on the earth, because God has already made all of us great. But how come only few persons are great? How come you could mention only a few names? That is to tell you that it is not God who decides who will become great on the earth. Mrs. Ufoma, you are welcome. Good evening to you. So I have been able to establish that, one, it is not God who decides who will be great on the earth. It is not your religion who decides who will be great on the earth. It is not your skin color that decides who will be great on the earth. It is not the country where you were born that decides who will be great on the earth. It is not your religion that decides. It is not your prayer and prophecy that decides. But you alone decides your greatness on the earth. And I've given you two things you need to do to achieve that greatness. One, believe that you can, because all things are possible to him that believes. If thou can believe, all things are possible to him that believes. So if you believe you can become great, you have taken the first step to greatness. And the second thing you need to do to become great is to choose in what area you want to become great. Just the way you look at sports, you could begin to mention, let's take football for example, soccer. If they say who are the great names in soccer now, you begin to mention Messi and Ronaldo. In basketball, you begin to mention names like Michael Jordan. Check history. If you are talking about, American football, you begin to mention names like Jerry Rice. If you talk about tennis, you begin to mention names like Serena Williams and Venus Williams. If you look at is it cricket they call it, you begin to know names like this cricket guy, what's his name now? Tiger Woods. So all these people chose in what area they want to become great. If you come to science, Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison, Elon Musk. So every area of life has produced great people, but they only became great not because God selected them to become great, but because they believed that they could become great, and they chose in what area they wanted to become great. So that is why I'm saying to you that the first two things you need to do is to believe and to choose in what area you want to become great. And then you're on your way to greatness. Now the third thing you need to do to become great, after you believe that you can, and you have chosen in what area you are going to become great, the third thing you need to do is to make sure that your actions justify your belief. The third thing you need to do to become great is to make sure that your actions justify your belief. What do I mean by that? You need to work hard in that area that you have chosen to become great. Your actions need to back up your belief. You cannot just say, I believe I'm going to be one of the greatest neurosurgeons in the world, and then you do nothing about it. There is no way you could become like Ben Carson if you just make up your mind, you just believe, and then you just say, I want to specialize in neurosurgery and become the best neurosurgeon. If your actions do not back up your belief, you will never become great. That is why the third thing you need to do, your actions need to justify your belief. Your action need to testify to your faith. That is why you cannot say that I want to become the best neurosurgeon and you spend 24 hours watching African Magic, watching Nollywood, or watching Premier League, and you want to become the best neurosurgeon, and you use 24 hours to do activities that are not related to the area of greatness you have chosen, it is not going to happen. You are only deceiving yourself if you do that. I see a lot of people today who said to me that I love medicine, I want to be a medical doctor, I want to be the best, neurosurgeon, I want to be the best pediatrician, I want to be the best, ophthalmologist, but I do not see them do anything related. I do not see them put the hard work. I do not see them put the action that is required to achieve what they have said they want to achieve. Rather, I see them watching Jennifer's Diary. Rather, I see them sitting before the computer and playing computer game. Rather, I see them watching African Magic and Iroko TV. What I see them do, I see them going to the club all the time. And they want to become the best ophthalmologists and the best pediatricians. It is impossible. You become what you continually do. So if you are saying you want to become the best neurosurgeon, and I see you going to play computer game all the time, or I see you going to, watch Premier League all the time, or I see you going to watch Iroko TV all the time, it means you are either planning to become an actor or an actress, or you want to become a footballer, not a neurosurgeon. That is why the third thing you need to do to achieve greatness is that you must justify your faith with your actions. Because the Bible says in Hebrews 11 that faith is the substance of things hoped for. Faith is the evidence of things not seen. So if your hope is to become great in science, or to become great in ministry, or to become great in politics, you need to show me the evidence of your faith. You need to show me the substance of your faith. Because it is not enough to just believe it. Your actions must prove it. That is why faith is evidence. Faith is substance. If I say I want to become great in neurosurgery, the action or the evidence that will prove that is that you will see me spending my 24 hours studying neurosurgery. I will go and get all the books in neurosurgery and study them so well that no other person on the face of the earth will know neurosurgery as much as I know it. If I do that, then I'm on my way to greatness in neurosurgery. That is why you must produce the evidence of your faith. We have people today all over the world who only talk, who only confess greatness. Oh, I'm going to become great. Oh, I'm going to do this. But their action is different from what they are saying. So until you produce the evidence, until you produce the substance of your faith, you are not yet ready to achieve greatness. You know, have you heard of a guy called Joseph Schooling? Joseph Schooling is a swimmer. Now, the last Olympic, Joseph Schooling was one of the top guys in swimming. That guy who defeated Michael Phelps. His name is Joseph Schooling. When he made up his mind that he wanted to become a great name in swimming, he went back and started practicing. 3 hours every day he was practicing swimming. He did that for 8 years. He was justifying his faith by his actions. He was producing evidence of what he hoped for. And he learned how to swim 3 hours every day. And after 8 years, he became the best swimmer in the world. He put his name on the pages of history. So it is your actions that will justify your faith. So it is not enough to just believe. It is not enough to just choose in what area you want to become great. You must also back it up by your actions. Your faith must be attested to by your actions. What do I mean by action? I mean you must put in the hard work. It is that hard work that differentiates mediocre people from great names. It is that hard work, that action, that differentiates the failures from the successful people. That is why Michael Jordan does not have 2 heads. That is why Usain Bolt does not have 2 heads. The only thing that differentiated these people is their action, their hard work. It is thanks to the action that Michael Jordan took as a youth that made him one of the greatest basketball players in history. It was because of the action, the series of training that Usain Bolt took that made him the fastest man on earth. So everyone can become great. But the third thing you need to become great is to put in action to what you believe, to produce the evidence of what you are hoping for. It doesn't matter what you are hoping to become. Anything you have chosen to become, any area you have chosen to become great, you can become great if you put in the necessary action and the hard work to achieve that. So you must know that you can become great. In fact, let me say to you today that with hard work, with the necessary action, you can predict your greatness by yourself. You can predict your success by yourself. If you can only put in the evidence and the substance of what you hope for, if you can only put in the action, you don't need a prophet to predict your future for you. You don't need a man of God to prophesy your future for you. You can predict your own future by yourself, and you will be accurate. If you can plan your life in such a way that you put in the hard work and the necessary action that is needed to achieve greatness, you will achieve that greatness. You will predict it, and it will happen that way. That was what Joseph Schooling did. He predicted that after 8 years of constant practice, 3 hours every day, he was going to become the best swimmer in the world. And it happened that way. Serena Williams and Venus Williams, when they were growing up as a child, when they wake up every morning, the first 2 hours after they wake up, they go to the lawn tennis courts for practice. Their father will take them. You are going to practice 2 hours before you go to school. And when you come back from school, you practice again. They predicted their future. And today, that action, that evidence, that substance produced the Serena Williams and the Venus Williams that you celebrated. That is why you can predict your own future. Their father wanted them to become the best and started training them from childhood. And that action, what the father hoped for, he made sure that their actions was an evidence, was a substance of what he hoped for. And thanks to that action, they became the great names that you know today. So you can predict your future. You can predict your greatness by yourself if you put in the necessary action. You can paint the kind of future you want, and it will happen that way if you put in the necessary actions. The last thing I'm going to say today is that the fourth thing you need, apart from believing that you can and choosing in what area you're going to become great, and then putting in the justification, the action, the hard work, the fourth thing you need is that if you are going to become great, you must value time. You must understand the value of time. Because time is the greatest resource in the world. Because all great men are given birth to thanks to time. It is time that gives birth to greatness. If you just understand the value of time, if you can just begin to invest your time into that thing that you said you want to do, you are on your way to greatness already. It is the amount of time you invest into that sphere that you have chosen that will determine whether or not you will become one of the best in that area. That will determine whether or not you can put your name on the pages of history. So don't take time for granted. Because all great men were born thanks to how much time they were able to invest. So if you are wasting your time doing irrelevant things that do not add value to you, and you say you want to become great, you are just joking. If you are using your time to watch African magic and to sleep all the time, you are using your time to watch Iroko TV and just to laugh, and you say you want to become great in medicine or in engineering, you are joking. You are a joker. Cannot take you seriously. You are not serious about what you are saying. So Time is one of the greatest resources that gives birth to greatness. And thank God, every one of us have been given equal amount of time. So the great names I mentioned do not have more time than you. But because they were able to invest their time, they were able to invest more time than the rest of us. That is why they are the great names that we know today. So what am I saying? That the fourth thing you need to do to become great, the fourth thing you need to do to make greatness a possibility with you is to learn to invest your time. That is why Usain Bolt is the fastest man in the world, because of how much time he puts into rehearsals. That is why Serena Williams has put her name on the page of history, because of how much time she invested into rehearsals. That is why Ben Carson has put his name on the pages of history, because of how much time he invested into rehearsing neurosurgery. So every great person that you know invested time. So that is why I said that you can become great. If you take these four things I said and you apply them, you're on your way to greatness already. Those who are great do not have two heads. It is not connection. It is not skin color. It is not background. It is not country of origin that made them great. It was because they did these four things. One, they believed, they had faith that they could become great. Two, they chose in what area they wanted to become great. Three, they put in the necessary action and hard work. And four, they had value for time. They invested their time. So erase that idea from your mind that you cannot become great. You can. And you will, if you obey these principles I just gave you now. I want to believe that you are leaving this place. After now, you are going back with the mentality that you can. And you are going to put in the hard work to achieve that greatness. Thank you everyone that came. I'm waiting to see your name on the pages of history. I'm waiting to hear your story of greatness. You can if you believe. You can if you put in the action. You can if you invest the time. Go and begin to walk towards your greatness. And I will see you at the top. God bless you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate your comments. I thank you for sharing the video. And please, after now, you can still share the video and invite your friends. I'll come to you again tomorrow with another topic. God bless you. You have a lovely evening. Bye.